And if you think this through, it's already happening, but in a not too distant future, we'll have the IoT discussion about a car will be a payment agent. So you'd be driving into a parking slot, and it will just pay its fee for parking there. The car will pay it rather than yourself.
Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another CYPRX video breakdown. Real fast, I just wanted to do a quick video showing you all some in-depth fundamentals that are happening behind the scenes that the mainstream media is not going to discuss or talk about to, number one, keep you informed about what's really happening behind the scenes via these Web3 and Fourth Industrial Revolution developments, and then keeping you all hopeful with a long-term perspective to show you all that for a fact banking institutions are having cocktail meetings and discussions about cryptocurrencies and the uses that they hold for banking institutions behind the scenes. Again, this is all information that the mainstream media is not going to show you. Shout out to the CYPRX researchers. They give their unwavering attention and their determination to provide massive amounts of documents and fundamentals to the CYPRX community, but also to the general public on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. So I wouldn't be able to do it without them. I always have to give them a shout out. But let's jump into today's video breakdown. So this whole entire video was obviously, of course, inspired by Jim Cramer saying on the 30th of September to get out of crypto while you can. And I'm going to show you all why this is happening. So let's just take a look at some events that are taking place where major banking institutions, systemically important organizations are going to be taking place. I'm going to try and get through these fundamentals as fast as possible. Check this out. Crypto Assets Conference taking place in Frankfurt, October 17th to the 18th. Okay. And if we head over and we look at the speakers and the sponsors and the attendees of this event, major organizations, for example, BNP Paribas, we got BNY Mellon, Goldman Sachs, UBS, Deutsche Bank, we got Medico, right? We got KPMG, we got EY, major consulting firms here. We got the DEA, Digital Euro Association, we got the European Commission, all attending this event. I mean, the list goes on. You guys can see on my screen. So let me show you all what they're going to be freaking talking about. You all see this right here. Panel discussion on crypto use cases for banks. Talking about Bitcoin, ETPs, ETFs, DeFi, Web3, carbon tokenization, ESG, right? Then it also says right here, on the 18th of October, they will be having crypto and drinks, where they will be networking with drinks and finger food. What? Oh, are you kidding me right now? So whole time the mainstream media is projecting, for example, individuals like Jim Cramer telling everybody to get out of crypto while these banking institutions are eating finger foods and having cocktail drinks, talking about cryptocurrencies behind the scenes. The mainstream media is not going to tell you that this event is taking place in less than 2 weeks. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to continue to shove this fear down your throat while they manipulate the market. And while they buy up everybody's fear behind the scenes, you need to be paying attention to detail. I've been attempting to tell people now is the time to dive into research. Now is the time to join valuable communities that actually provide insights on what's being developed behind the scenes during this crypto winter. And here at CYPRX, we have an unwavering commitment to provide that information for you all. We have CYPRX researchers on a global scale in Australia, in the Netherlands, in Mexico, here in the United States. We have researchers in Canada pulling up fundamentals and documents that are never going to reach the mainstream to show you all what's happening behind the scenes. We have another event coming up in November of this year, Money Live. Go look at it. We have some massive, systemically important organizations attending this event. For example, we have individuals from car organizations, Mercedes, right? We got individuals from ING, JP Morgan.
My background is in banking. I've been 25 years in banking, investment banking specifically. So we did most of the things that went wrong in banking over many years. I've seen, and I accompanied it through the different crises. We at JP Morgan obviously are a meaningful player in this space, and we think that the whole crypto DLT technology is very exciting, and that is something that one should take very seriously. So from that perspective, I think that's good.
Okay. We have the global co-head cross-border payments and receivables at Citibank attending this event. This is not a joke. And look at what they're going to be talking about. Here are the key themes for 2023 at Money Live. MICA, which I've already shown you guys previous panel discussions of representatives from Deutsche Bank and Medico, saying that once MICA comes into fruition at the end of 2024, this will greenlight the regulatory environment for these financial institutions to get involved in digital assets. They're going to be talking about tokenization. They're going to be talking about cryptocurrencies and retail payments, right? But I thought cryptocurrencies aren't going to be utilized for retail payments in the future. That's what the mainstream media wants you to think, because they know that trillions of dollars over the next 2 to 5 years are going to absolutely freaking flood into this market once the regulatory landscape is sound and secure. Once all of these organizations have their employees updated, once the back-end infrastructure is solidified and it's all ready to go, it's going to be a freaking massive wave of capital that comes into this market. And if you for 1 second listen to ignorant individuals like Jim Cramer telling you to get out of crypto, you will be left behind. And it's easy to see. This is all stuff that the mainstream media is not going to tell you. Okay, so this is now 2 events coming up within the next month that are taking place where large financial institutions are specifically talking about cryptocurrencies, retail payments, and utilizing cryptocurrencies in banks. Okay, here's another interesting document that the CYPRX students, I swear I don't even know how they get access to these PDFs. I have so many PDFs in the arsenal, it's insane. This is one that I found interesting. I was reading through. If we scroll up to the top of this, it's labeled Silicon Luxembourg FinTech, and it was put out 2023. And we've talked about this before, cryptocurrency assets being utilized in space, right? And if we scroll right down here to page 15 and we zoom in, give me a second. Okay, it goes on to say, MICA, again, that mention of MICA, I'm telling you that's going to be such a significant piece of regulation that a lot of people aren't paying attention to because the mainstream media has kind of swept it aside. But if you pay attention to what all the big banks and institutions are talking about, they're talking about MICA. Right down here, it says, in space can cooperate and exchange value. For example, robots built by different companies will be able to collaborate without any human intervention on other celestial bodies using some kind of cryptocurrency to exchange value for their services in the future.
Imagine banks as being a set of APIs to the world, and investors will have APIs that basically will tell them, I want this exposure and I have that exposure. And if it matches, the transaction automatically happens and it will get arbitrage itself out. Everybody that wants to buy will be buying, and to everybody who will sell will be selling. And that will no longer have a lot of human interaction at that point. That is feasible. Technology allows for it.
What? This is, again, a PDF, a fundamental that is not going to make it to the mainstream. They're not going to tell you about this stuff. They're not going to educate you on what's happening. No, they're going to adopt this technology first. They're going to utilize it. They're going to implement it into the back-end infrastructure, and then they're going to bring the herd on. Once the institutions and the foundation has already been built and they've already adopted this technology, then you can have a piece. The individuals, very small percentage of the population, less than 5% of the freaking population is doing research on digital assets, cryptocurrencies, Web3, fourth industrial revolution, right? It doesn't matter if you're a crypto enthusiast. There's so many other niches that you could get involved in right now to come out on top over the next 10 years. Artificial intelligence, data collection, Web3 as a whole, okay? Blockchain, DLT, it doesn't matter if you're a crypto investor or not. Wake up and start doing research. So let's transition. Let's get out of cryptocurrencies. I just want to show you guys because people will for real think that this is a conspiracy theory, okay? Let's get into digital identities. IDEMIA, whom we know is heavily involved with Hedera, being utilized and implemented for offline payments. They're coming out with biometric passports. You guys can see here on my screen. This is a fundamental that just came out a couple of weeks ago, accelerating border control checks using an e-passport. This is something that we've been covering for over a year now, and it's happening. The fundamentals are going to continue to come out left and right. IDEMIA's end-to-end biometric passport solution includes innovative security features and the fastest operating system on the market. They're going to tell you that it's safe, that it's easy, right? That it makes things faster. They're going to cause a demand for it to make it easier for you to interpret and for you to want to adopt these technologies, okay? But in reality, it's a systemically implemented scheme to track, control, and monitor citizens, okay? It even says right here, making travel easy as possible for citizens to travel abroad. They're going to try and make it so that way it sounds easy for you, okay? If something's easy for the general populace, what are they going to do? Oh yeah, come on, bring it on. Let's get it. Let's adopt it, right? Here we see this was a good post from R3 on their LinkedIn. This is just from 4 days ago. It talks about cash usage and how it's going to decrease around 15% each year up until about 2028.
Cash, right, which is fully anonymous, at least until specific limits where you maybe need to reveal your ID or something if you buy a large car or other things. And I think this is something we shouldn't forget, that we are currently, or it seems we are transitioning into a world where cash is playing a lower and lower role continuously, also as a means of payment. And that, again, not from a central bank perspective, but from a market perspective, there could be a world where in a few decades, maybe cash is not even be there. I personally don't hope that, because today, due to the privacy advantage, I pay most of my stuff with cash.
It's estimated that by 2028, just 9% of all payments will be made in physical currency. R3 CTO Richard G. Brown discusses where digital currencies can give us some freedom as cash, give us the same freedom as cash, excuse me. And he goes on to say, CBDCs will not be the cause of a dystopian future. It will be a means to prevent one, but only if personal freedom is at the core of its design implementation. So they're, again, going to try to get you to think that they're not stripping away your sovereignty by implementing CBDCs. I like somebody that posted underneath of this. He goes on to say, the freedom you surrender today is the freedom that your grandchildren will never know exists. Say no to CBDCs. Now, a lot of people will say, it's all a conspiracy theory. It's not going to happen. Look at this. This is straight from the Digital Pound Foundation telling you that this is a stage. It's a freaking stage. Project Enbridge set for major expansion, says Hong Kong Monetary Authority CEO. This is published September 27, 2023. So it's updated within the last week, right? Look at what they say here. We anticipate bringing more central banks on board our open platform. In the near future, we'll be rolling out what we've termed a minimum viable product, setting the stage for Enbridge's eventual commercial launch. They literally tell you that they are setting the stage. It's a freaking show. It's an act, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to get the vote on digital identities. You're not going to get the vote on CBDCs. You're damn sure not going to get the vote on carbon credits. This is all happening without our consent, whether you like it or not. And so what can we do as individuals, as the bottom of the totem pole, right? The lower and middle class, because I guarantee you every single person on this call, including myself, is not making multi-millions of dollars to the point where we can completely escape this reality by use of payments and paying our way to the top, right? So how can you come up? You can do research and figure out how to capitalize on said opportunities during this crypto winter, during this bear market, during this digital transformation. It is the only way, I'm telling you all right now, that you're going to be able to survive long term. Imagine having the opportunity to go back in the early internet days and tap into unprecedented amounts of research to companies and organizations that were set to revolutionize the internet. You now have that opportunity again, and people are freaking sleeping because they think it's a conspiracy theory, because the mainstream agenda is presenting it to be exactly that, a conspiracy theory. But if you go look at what these systemically important organizations are doing, like the banking institutions, they're having cocktails at private meetings talking about cryptocurrencies. Look, guys, I'm literally showing you all the page right here. This is a crypto asset conference that's coming up in October. You can see the agenda. It says crypto and drinks, networking with drinks and finger food. What? Oh man, you cannot make this up. Okay. Let's get into carbon credits, because people really think that the carbon credit initiative is not happening. I've been telling you guys, pay attention to how you can benefit from trading carbon credits. The elites are going to be doing it. They're going to be buying carbon credits off of less informed individuals, if you want to go buy a cup of coffee in the future, mark my words, by 2030, 2035, you want to go travel to your mom's house, you want to go fly across the globe, you're going to have to pay for it. Not only in the expenses that it's going to cost for you to get to that location or travel to that place, but you're also going to have to pay a fee via your carbon credits, your carbon emission. Okay. This is from Future of Finance. Can the carbon credit markets institutionalize and tokenize at the same time? I'm just going to read some highlights from this before I let you guys go. It says, which is why carbon reduction schemes tend to be led in the first instance by governments. Then it also goes on to say, all attempts to put a price on carbon must be understood as a second best alternative to government failure to tax emitters on well-founded and easily comprehensible principles that polluter must pay proportionately, there you go, to the damages they cause. So it's telling you all right here that polluters, i.e. you and I, will have to pay proportionately to the damages that they cause, right? It says cap and trade is politically less risky than introducing carbon taxes on polluters, so it's likely to persist. Indeed, other countries are queuing up to follow the European example. Alongside these government schemes, a second market is developing, i.e. the voluntary carbon credits, and in these, emitters can purchase carbon credits such as presentations of tons of carbon emitted, better removed from the atmosphere if they wish to increase their own emissions. It's openly telling you all this stuff, but the reason why people think it's a conspiracy theory is because it's not happening just yet. Right now, they're laying the foundation, the groundwork for all of this to take place over the next couple of years. I'm in an attempt to wake people up and to show people that there are ongoing developments happening behind the scenes. This is all information that is readily available at each and every single person's fingertips, so you choose to do the research. Everybody that's on this call is most likely awake and aware to what's going on to some degree. But now is the time to take it upon yourself to join a community, to tap into research, to figure out what's really going on so you can better position yourself, your friends, and your family members to come out on top. Could mark my words, there will be a very small percentage of individuals, just like in the early internet days, that did research, that didn't pay attention to the FUD, that understood how these elite organizations tell you one thing while they go behind the scenes and do another. And you all will be the small percentage of individuals that come out on top. You need to understand a couple of different things. Your own risk tolerance. That means if you are going to invest in this space, in Web3 technologies, fourth industrial technologies, right? Fourth industrial revolution technologies, you need to have a sound risk management plan. That means you're not plugging in money into this market that you're not willing to lose, because at the end of the day, we could all be 110% totally freaking wrong and they could pull the plug on all of this stuff, right? Highly doubt that, but it could be a possibility. And you need to have a long-term perspective by controlling your emotions in the now, understanding that these impulsive little tiny blips on the radar, when, for example, XRP jumps freaking 2 cents up, it's nothing compared to what's coming over the next 5 to 10 years, okay? It's insane. People have such a small-minded perspective on the global transformation that we're going through right now. Take it upon yourself to dig a little bit deeper, read some documents, and educate yourself. I've tried to tell people they are not hiding this from you. Stop thinking that they're hiding this from you. They're not. The bankers, the consulting firms, the systemically important organizations, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, right? Oh, they're telling you. They're telling you straight to your face in their documents, in their panel discussions. And I've shown you all physical proof that these videos and these PDFs that I'm displaying to you all are getting barely 100 views. Why do you think that is? Ask yourself. Mark my words, over the next 5 to 10 years, there's going to be a massive transformation. And little tiny calls like this, we're going to look back and you're going to be like, I'm so happy that to some degree, no matter what degree you listen to, like I said, you don't have to be an investor in cryptocurrencies. You don't have to be a day trader to come out on top, but do research to well position yourself on this information so you can really see what's happening behind the scenes. Many blessings to you all. As always, be cognizant, be aware. If anybody wants access to hundreds of hours of documented research, hundreds of PDFs, video clips that are never making it to the mainstream, visit CYPRXtrading.com. We'd love to have you on our team. We have about 164 slots left for our monthly CYPRX program, where you all have direct access to our private chat, our weekly Zoom calls, our trade analysis. As always, be cognizant. Please take it upon yourself. If you're not going to join our community, you're not going to join another community. At least take it upon yourself to do independent research. In your free time, stop watching Netflix, stop watching Disney Plus, stop twiddling your fingers and scrolling on TikTok and Twitter and YouTube, and go open up some documents. Go watch some BIS panel discussions. Go watch some Digital Euro Association panel discussions, okay? Do research on what events are taking place that the mainstream's not talking about. There's literally over 100 events taking place before the end of 2023, specifically on this technology. Before the end of 2023, granted, there's only what, 3 months left, 3 full months left of this year. And I just told you there's 100 events taking place before the end of this year. And most likely, you know, not about one single event. But everybody knows about how Jim Cramer just told everybody to get out of crypto, right? Exactly my point. Pay attention to detail. Many blessings to you all. As always, make sure that you're following us on Twitter for further updates, and I'll see you guys in the next video breakdown.